Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. I'm so happy that you're here. In today's video, I want to show you that you can begin recovery today, and yes, you can start it on your own. And in the end, I'm going to give you the tool which helped me tremendously with my own recovery. So many people who have struggled for a long time begin to believe recovery is impossible for them, or at least that full recovery is. They don't know where to start, what steps to take, and if they can afford a therapist or a coach, it feels easier to either give up or keep postponing the start. I've been there. I couldn't afford help either. I felt completely overwhelmed and lost, with no clue how to begin. What I didn't realize at the time, and what many of us don't, is that the hardest part of recovery is not the eating or the fear of weight gain, not even the body changes. The hardest part is truly wanting it and deciding that no matter what, you show up for yourself 100%. Once you make that decision, 90% of the work is already done. And yes, there will be challenges along the way, but that choice is what makes them possible to face. We need to understand that no one but ourselves can truly convince us to begin if we don't want it. You can go to as many specialists as you like. You can have your closest friends and family encouraging you every day. But you and only you are responsible for your recovery. Yes, their support can be incredibly valuable, and yes, they can walk beside you along the way, but they cannot make the decision for you. Even if we draw inspiration from someone who has already gone through recovery, it still comes down to us alone. We can watch 1,000 videos, listen to endless talks, read piles of books, but until we make that inner choice ourselves, the process of recovery hasn't truly begun. Many people don't feel ready to begin because the fear of weight gain and the fear of eating without restrictions feel overwhelming. So overwhelming that they keep waiting, hoping those fears will quiet down before they take the first step. But let me tell you, until you actually begin recovery, those fears will never fade, and they will certainly never disappear on their own. That is exactly why we start, so that over time they lose their power. In the beginning, and for the most parts of the process, those fears will be still there, loud and convincing. And that's why the work is to move forward despite them and despite their intensity. Others keep waiting for certain circumstances to line up perfectly before they allow themselves to start. Some tell themselves they're not sick enough yet to deserve recovery. But we need to see clearly that when the mind is afraid of something, it can create endless excuses and reasons to hold us back. And it can be very, very persuasive. So, if we truly want to begin and to recover, we cannot sit around waiting for all those fears or circumstances to magically line up, because they never will. What we need to do instead is to set them aside in our mind and to choose to move forward in spite of them. And this is, in fact, the very skill we keep practicing throughout the whole recovery journey, to notice the fears, the beliefs, the constant arguments of the mind, and still put them down to the side so we can do what must be done. And the tool I'm going to share with you in the end helped me again and again to do exactly this during my own recovery. I remember the evening I finally made the decision to start. I had gone back home for a few days because we were celebrating my sister's birthday. Of course, for me, it didn't feel like a celebration at all. The week leading up to it, I had barely eaten anything, desperate to drop a few pounds so that I would at least look presentable in front of my family. Every time we had a gathering, I was terrified because there were always comments about my body, and I felt their eyes on me watching exactly what and how much I ate. Every day there was plenty of food, all kinds of things, and I thought about food constantly, but I didn't allow myself to touch most of it, especially not in front of my family. Instead, I ate a few times late at night, alone in my room, hoping no one would walk in and catch me. After that, I would hide the empty food wrappers, quietly washing the dishes in secret, doing everything I could so that no one would find out what or how much I had eaten. But one evening, I sat in the living room and thought, how long am I going to keep doing this madness? I was completely exhausted, completely hungry, and completely done. I felt like I had no strength left through this endless circus I was performing. By that point, I already knew deep down that if I ever wanted to be free once and for all, I would have to start eating again. But I had kept postponing it, convincing myself I could somehow get better without taking that step. Needless to say, that never worked. So, right there in that moment, I decided enough, I'm starting to eat. The moment I made that choice, my mind screamed back at me, no, there's no way you can do this. My determination clearly scared it, but it didn't back down. It kept throwing arguments at me. You can't, you won't make it. Tomorrow you want to restrict again. There's no point in starting, you'll just eat for nothing. And on and on. A whole flood of thoughts all within just a few minutes. But instead of giving in, I went to the kitchen, made myself a huge plate of pasta with lots of cheese, grabbed a Toblerone, went back to my room, put on my favorite show, and ate. For the first time in such a long while, I ate with peace, knowing that later that night or the next day I wouldn't have to compensate for it, and knowing that tomorrow I would be able to eat again, and the day after, too. Just realizing that I could eat every single day brought me an indescribable sense of relief. It took me some time of eating daily to actually believe it, that I really could eat every day again and again. Of course, my mind didn't stay quiet. After that very first meal, it jumped right back in and told me, there's no way you'll be able to repeat this tomorrow. You'll give up in a few days. You won't last. But every day that followed, I proved it wrong. Day after day, I kept showing my mind the opposite. My mind didn't quiet down for a long time. It kept throwing doubts and fears at me every single day. But little by little, my ability to step back from it grew stronger. And at some point, I reached a place where I honestly no longer cared what it said or didn't say. So, that decision, that inner, yes, I'm going to do this, is 90% of the work. Now, let's talk about the other 10. Those remaining 10%, if we can set the mind's fears aside, can actually be surprisingly simple, even enjoyable. I say if we set the mind aside because in the beginning the mind will be terrified. It will panic, it will resist, and it will do everything in its power to stop us every single day. But the truth is, for this part, we don't need endless preparation, special rituals, or carefully written plans. What we need is willingness, because those 10% are eating. And the beautiful thing is, we can start at any moment. We don't have to wait until tomorrow or next week or until we feel more ready, because we will never feel more ready than right now. We can open the fridge and begin. And if your fridge is empty, because maybe like I once did, you've kept it that way on purpose, then you simply go to the store, take a basket, and fill it with the foods you fear most. Bring them home, put on a show on Netflix, and allow yourself to eat. The Netflix part is optional, of course, but why not? And it can make the moment a little easier. And now, I want to share with you the tool that helped me learn how to separate myself from my mind. It's a simple 15-minute meditation, completely free, that you can find on YouTube. It's called Isha Kriya. I know it might sound far too simple and easy to actually work, but it does, I promise you. I discovered this meditation about a year before I began my recovery, and I still practice it to this very day. What happens when you practice it regularly is that it creates a gentle distance between you and your mind, between you and your body. And when that distance grows, the thoughts in your head and the sensations in your body stop controlling you in the way they once did. They're still there, but they no longer have the same power. I'll leave a link in the description so you can learn more about it and try it for yourself. This meditation truly changed my life, not just in relation to my eating disorder, but in so many areas as well. Give it a chance. Practice it every morning and evening for a few months and you'll see what I mean. Every time we postpone recovery, we are actually postponing our life. And the truth is, you have already everything you need to begin, even right now, in this very moment. If you have questions or if you need support, leave me a comment or send me an email. Thank you for spending this time today with me. I wish you a beautiful, beautiful day and I'll see you very soon. Bye.